Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Rock Countout. It's the countdown show that we do right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. And this week, the debut of a new title. One of the ugliest.
Oh, yeah.
One of the ugliest titles.
We'll talk about it more later, but you know what? It's not without its charm, though.
Oh, I agree. We'll get to that later. But, you know, obviously the new 24/7 title is out. A lot of people are crapping on it for all the right reasons and some of the wrong reasons. And that got us thinking, such an ugly title. There's been a lot of really ugly titles in and out of the WWE across the world of wrestling. Some very confusing designs out there. Some odd choices.
Beguiling.
Yeah, so we figured we'd sit down and take a look back in history at some of the ugliest,
least aesthetically pleasing
wrestling titles in history
ever.
Here we go. Number 10. The WWE Spinner World title.
Yeah, this is generally regarded as one of, if not the ugliest WWE title, but we think there's several more that are actually uglier than this one. It's gaudy. There's a lot going on there. And the middle part there, in case you weren't aware of it, spun in a circle.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of history of this belt. So, of course, after John Cena won WWE title, April 25, that year's WrestleMania, 21, right? You were there for that.
I saw that happen, yes.
You don't remember it, though, do you?
No. You
Much
won it from JBL.
Yeah, much like he did after he won the U.S. title, he decided, I'm going to have my own custom WWE World Championship, and thus was birthed the Spinner title.
Well, he was a big enough name. I mean, you can say this about John Cena. You did really feel like you said, they sort of preceded it by giving him his own U.S. title, which we'll talk about much later.
Oh gosh.
And so you could tell that Cena was a big deal, a breath of fresh air at the time. He was supremely over, and he did really organically come off like a generational guy, like a Stone Cold type guy.
Yeah.
And so he was worthy, just like Stone Cold was, of having his own title. And yeah, it has the more sort of exuberant aspects of hip hop culture, I think, is infused in this title.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a gaudy type, stylistic.
Over the top, of course, at the time, in the mid-aughts, spinners, hubcaps for your wheels were a popular thing.
Yeah.
Latrell Sprewell had his own business.
Yeah, they were the
Sprewells. Yeah. So they were a pretty huge thing, so that was incorporated into the design of this particular world title.
It's actually, I'll be honest, so it's gaudy as hell. It's a fairly inspired and risky title design.
Really
they would never do that.
No. And actually proved to be fairly versatile because it spun for a while, and then they locked it in place. When The Miz had it in 2011, he locked it in place upside down, so the WWE scratch logo that was on there, instead of a W, it was an M for Miz.
It's funny the way you just put that. It spun for a while. It would be kind of cool if they put a motor in there that you could just flick it on and it would continuously spin.
They need one of those like inertia things.
Yeah, there you go.
Or as long as nothing stops it, it'll just keep spinning.
Yeah,
exactly. So you need an actual motor in there.
Right. But it was thick enough. It could have had a motor easily.
Yeah, totally.
It was thick.
It seemed very heavy.
Yeah.
So this title was the primary WWE Championship for, let me get the math here right, from 2005 to 2013. 8 years.
It was a long time.
8 years.
It was a very long time.
8 years. It wasn't until February 18th, 2013, where The Rock unveiled a new WWE Championship.
And that sort of became the template for what we know now. I think it had the standard...
Yeah, the five-sided plate.
Yeah.
Or the five-sided shape.
I think that one that he unveiled, was that the scratch logo one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that sounds right.
I don't think they come to the current logo yet.
Yeah, it went from, but it was like the WWE Championship that Kofi has now, except it was a scratch logo.
And then like the champion was more pronounced on the bottom of the main plate of the belt.
Yeah.
All in all, a lot of people consider this one of, if not the ugliest WWE belts. It's gaudy. It's over the top.
My thing is, it made literally no sense for anybody to carry it but John Cena. That's why it's so surprising it lasted so long.
Well, here's the thing. John Cena had that belt plenty in that.
He did.
Span.
Yeah, I mean, it was that was the thing. It was like, well, we understand that this guy's going to have it again and again and again and again.
So might as well keep it around.
Yeah,
when we get to the number 2 entry on here, it's a little weirder that that belt stuck around for as long as what it did, because that got passed around quite a bit in its short lifespan. We'll get to that in number 2 entry.
All right. Well, let's move on to number 9.
9.
The Ring of Honor 6-man title.
Why they have to make such a point of getting all the verbiage in there, and it's such a prominent. Like, what is that in the middle there? What is that?
I will say this. It's the Globe. I will say this. This is an episode of Countout you probably want to watch, unless you are very familiar with these titles. You can, I mean, if you're listening to it, you can whip out your phone and Google them.
As long as you're not driving. Don't do it while you're driving.
Yeah, don't do that. But we are putting up pictures of each of these, and I'm keeping them on for an extended period of time.
So you really soak it in.
So you really soak it in. This Ring of Honor one, and this is a fairly recent, last 2 years, right?
Yeah. This is the redesign they introduced in 2018.
Oh, okay, yeah. And it is...
it's about a year and a half old.
So it has sort of the current techie design to it.
Yeah, that's pretty prominent. But it's interesting because it's not in keeping with the aesthetics of the other, at least not the TV title nor the world title.
Yeah.
I don't believe. This is a very particular thing.
And it's, like you said, it's got all the words on it. It says ROH and then 6 spelled out, 6-man, and then in the middle, tag team, and then champions. Oh, and world.
World is the smallest word on the whole thing.
Over the globe, over a little globe. And it's just, it's
perhaps the 2 most important aspects of the whole thing. Well, maybe not. Ring of Honor, their logo's pretty small up top there. It's just, there's just too much going on. There's too many words on it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like a championship belt should have that many words.
Yeah, I agree totally. It's a really ugly title. And which is surprising because Ring of Honor traditionally has really nice looking titles.
Yeah, I think their world title looks really good.
What did their one look like? I haven't seen. I don't remember. Ring of Honor 6-man title. What did it look like before that?
It was pretty basic. It looked fairly traditional, actually.
These are all the new ones. Oh, was it this one here? Yeah, it was. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty traditional.
See, that's nice. That's nice looking right there.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor, big old giant.
You get the huge logo.
Big logo.
And you get the details.
Why did they redesign it?
I don't know. Anyways, the titles themselves were announced in August of 2016 via press release, and the first champions were determined in a tournament which saw, guess what 3-man team?
The Kingdom.
Yeah. Defeat the team of Jay White, Kushida, and Leo Rush in the finals, becoming the first Ring of Honor 6-man champions. And apparently Ring of Honor touted these titles as important because it was the first time in apparently 25 years in the States there were 6-man tag team champions. So it's kind of a huge deal.
Well, wait, hold on. Wait a second. They debuted the championship in 2016.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Then,
well, they announced them in 2016.
oh, they announced them.
Then a tournament, but then in January 2018 they redesigned them because I think they did a full redesign of all their titles.
So
it was when the Hung Bucks had the titles. It was the Young Bucks and Hangman Page.
Less than 2 years later, like a year and a couple months later, they redesigned it.
Yeah, to that abomination.
You're just throwing away money.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it just didn't get better.
And it's not as if...
It's like when I will redesign stuff just for no reason and it just doesn't come out as good.
Well, I mean, it's a situation where I guess they thought, well, we're redesigning everything else. Might as well just redo this one, too.
It's fine. It was fine.
But it's not like it really fits into a unified aesthetic across the board.
It really doesn't. What is the current Ring of Honor Championship?
I think it looks pretty good.
What's the regular Tag Team Championship look like? I think those look pretty good, too. Oh, yeah. Whichever. Is it these ones?
Maybe.
I think it's these ones. Because that kind of has
the more opulent one.
This one? All these look good.
Yeah, those all look good.
They all look way better to 6-man. Yeah, Ring of Honor, they'd really dropped the ball on these 6-man titles.
You know, if you want the 6-man titles to feel important, then like all the other belts look expensive.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
6-man tag titles don't look that expensive.
Yeah, it looks cheap.
Looks a little cheap.
Looks cheap.
Looks a little cheap.
I mean, that's one thing we can say about the title that preceded this, the WWE Spinner title. It looked expensive as all get out because it looked bejeweled.
Gold and diamonds and
all sorts of stuff.
Even if it's gold plated in cubic zirconia, that still ain't cheap, man.
A lot of the
$1,000 belt.
A lot of the younger hip hop stars these days will post on their Instagram stories them buying opulent. I mean, this has been ages, you know, massive, big chunks of jewelry that they get, and they'll show up with a sack of doubloons. Was that me or you?
No, I hope it's not. He doesn't sound like me.
Let's see here.
Got a car alarm going off.
Oh, was that you?
I don't know.
Or was that coincidence?
It could be.
Moving on, number 8. The WWE Tag Team titles. This was the giant penny belts.
Yeah, so when I started getting back into WWE in 2011 or so, one of the first things I noticed were these tag titles, because it looked like, you go to some sort of attraction, some sort of place, and there's usually a machine, especially if it's kind of like an Old West theme type thing or something about the railroad.
The Railroad Museum has it.
Yeah, I think Old Sacramento does several places. You take an average penny.
Yeah.
You put it in this machine, and it flattens it,
right,
and embosses a design on it.
Yeah.
That's what these tag team titles look like. So as soon as I saw them, I started calling them the pennies.
Yeah, sure.
Because they look like giant
pennies. A lot
pennies.
of people did, yeah.
On straps of leather.
Mm-hmm.
But these were preceded by the unified WWE Tag Team Championships. And that was the case until that damn anonymous Raw general manager announced that that one half of those unified tag team championships, the World Tag Team Championships, would be decommissioned, and then they would just have one single pair of belts, the WWE Tag Team Championships, and they would be a new design, and it was the pennies. So you get two Spartan helmets, like facing opposite each other.
I actually like the design. I like the idea of the Spartan helmets.
Yeah, that's all right.
I like that. I think that's good. They look like pennies. And in fact, the current ones that are silver
look much better.
Look much better.
Copper,
I think those look good. It's the copper. You're right. They just look like pennies.
What year did 300, the movie, come out?
Probably
2006.
2006.
So that was well before this. This was 4 to 5 years before. Or that was 4 to 5 years before these pennies.
The movie came out way before.
Yeah.
Right. That means Vince McMahon was watching.
Had finally just seen 300
on like TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly.
And so those belts, the new tag titles, the pennies, were presented to the champions at the time, who were the Hart Dynasty. Bret Hart gave them these new belts.
Oh, good. Here's your titles,
Yeah. And these belts existed until 2016, when there was the brand draft, the brand extension. These belts became the Raw Tag Team titles. And after SmackDown introduced their own version of these with the silver plate and the blue strap, Raw kind of remixed or reissued these Raw Tag Team titles with the red leather strap and the silver plates.
Which I think do look much better than these.
It's just the copper plates.
It's the copper.
Work. When you get a wrestling title, you expect gold, and if not gold, some sort of silver or platinum metal. Copper,
I do appreciate, though, that they didn't go in the direction of like their world title, just another template version. That's why I like the women's tag titles.
Yeah.
They look unique.
They look more like NXT titles.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they look unique.
Yeah, and hopefully in the future, whenever they decide to redesign any of the titles, they go in that direction, not just stamped from the same template. Something different, something new. Give each title its own distinctive feel and look.
And I do appreciate that they try to do
totally.
that
They try to do something different.
Just, it doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't always work.
Sometimes they look like giant pennies.
Yeah.
That's what we have now. Or that's what we had
That's
at
what we
that
had
point.
Then. So I guess it was December 19th, 2016, when the Raw Tag Team titles were redesigned.
When?
December 19th, 2016. It's when the Raw Tag Team titles were redesigned to be the red belt with the silver plates.
It's been that long? Yeah, I guess it has been.
2.5 years or so.
So it was around from... when did the Hart Foundation... 2010? Those were around for 6 years?
Yeah.
Wow, boy.
Not handsome belts to have that long. No. Anyways, before we continue, here's a word from our sponsor for today's show, Robinhood.
Yeah, Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos all commission free.
While other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all your profits. Plus, there is no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level.
The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. You can also view stock collections such as 100 most popular.
With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio, discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest.
Robinhood is giving listeners of Going In Raw a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. Sign up at goinginraw.robinhood.com, and big shout out and thanks to Robinhood for sponsoring Going In Raw. It really does help us here at the show.
Yep.
If you check out goinginraw.robinhood.com. www.wrestling.com.
It does.
Let's move on with these ugly belt designs, Larson.
good.
Here we go. Number 7.
7.
The 5-star tap or snap design.
So I really
title.
had to dig deep into wrestling internet to find out the story of these belts because we were pointed in the direction of these by
Alex C, I think.
Alex C, yeah, in chat for one of our Overrun episodes. So 5-Star Wrestling is was a United Kingdom based wrestling promotion. They are since defunct.
I feel like we don't know nearly as much as we should about 5-star because it seems like an epically.
Well, they were the company that announced that huge 128-man tournament.
That they had an open offer to CM Punk for £1 million or dollars or something.
Like RVD was supposed to be in it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of names in it, and it just fizzled. Now the company's out of business.
And then they did actually run some shows.
They had a TV show. They apparently had a video game.
Yeah, they had a video game. According to, I think maybe I forget who was in chat also said that it's like a constant point of reference on the Cultaholic podcast.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that Matthew did like almost an entire episode of Botchamania exclusively on 5-star. I know that their production was a mess.
Yeah, so they were on something called Free Sports.
It was one of those things where like whoever 5-star was, whoever ran it, see if I recall correctly, seemed to want to just jump into the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one dude who just wanted to be WWE all of a sudden. So
Yeah.
he announced, he's like, oh, how can I get some attention? 128 people in a Rumble.
Yeah, yeah.
Or it was a tournament.
A tournament, yeah, 128-person tournament.
Should have made it a Rumble.
It's going to last forever. So near as I can tell, the story behind this Tap or Snap Championship is they wanted some submission-based title.
Sure.
And so this belt was brought forth February 1st, 2018, during 5-Star's TV debut on Free Sports. And it was initially won by Mark Haskins. He was in a 5-man, 5-star submission elimination match. So I guess you'd have to win a match via, or all the matches have to be won via submission in Tap or Snap championship matches. So I guess you're in submission hold. Either you tap, or if you don't, your arm or leg or your body part snaps.
Well, I mean,
the name.
that is generally the idea of submission moves.
Especially in MMA.
In MMA, yeah. If you don't, it's
tap,
funny.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to do a little bit of research on this, so I YouTube searched Tap or Snap 5-star wrestling, and one of the videos that popped up was like an MMA compilation. No, it was a compilation. It was like, I don't know, there was like a video of a guy who, in fact, did not tap, and his arm did snap. And there's a great thumbnail with a red circle pointing to the arm. Yeah,
gotcha.
the arm going the wrong way.
Oof.
But yeah, this was and it's just here. I'll put it back up for the YouTube viewers.
There's just a lot going on there.
It's a spectacularly the number one 5-stars logo in the first place. I think that's Impact font.
Yeah,
on the 5.
It is.
And then the Tap or Snap.
And their world title was just the huge main plate with the 5-star logo on it.
Yeah. I mean, like, uninspired doesn't even do it justice. Because it's not even like it. So the front plate looks like a bunch of broken glass, like somebody threw a baseball
and
at
then
a
you have
window.
the words tap or snap on there, seemingly too small.
The time you threw a baseball at our window?
No, it wasn't a baseball.
That was a rock.
It was a little rock. It's a little rock.
Oh, that was funny.
Maybe like a quarter-sized rock. I was locked out. I thought you were home.
And so you decided to throw a 90-mile-an-hour rock.
No, I just kind of threw it lightly up there, just hoping someone would hear it hit the window and they would let me in because I was locked out. I'd gone to the gym or something.
That was so great.
But anyways, this tap or snap font or lettering on what appears to be some sort of broken glass type effect on the gold plate is much too small. In fact, the broken glass motif dominates the title. And if you were to see this from far away, you'd think, okay, what's this broken glass belt all about?
It looked like, and yeah, it's like a vision test for wrestling titles. It is. What, 1 or 2? What's better, 1 or 2?
I know. Cover your right eye first. What does it say?
Can you read
now
line?
Cover your left eye.
Can you read the 5th line? Tap or slap?
You try again, please.
Close enough.
Wait 2 minutes. They'll come closer.
It's as if they were doing this in Photoshop and they didn't know where the free transform thing was.
And it's got like they're slightly askew.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know. It's just.
It's a mess.
It
like,
is. It is a
It
mess.
should be tap or snap.
And have like a broken arm or something. I have broken bones on there or something.
With a red circle.
Totally. That's a good idea. We should do that in a Fun Wrestling or WCW.
We'll do it, a submission title.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good.
Only defended in submission matches.
Call it tap or slap.
Yeah.
Moving on, number 6.
6.
The Global Force Wrestling Next Gen Championship.
So I think this was like their mid-card title. And like, I'm cool with green and all. Even like really bright green. Volt, as Nike would call it.
Yeah.
This looks like it's got slime on it.
It doesn't.
It's a weird. It's not quite neon green. It's not. It's closer to like green screen green, but it's a little more vibrant than that.
No, it's slime green. You're
It is
exactly
slime green,
correct.
yeah.
It's slime green. And of course, it's Jeff Jarrett's Global Force Wrestling.
Yeah, none of the belts from Global Force look good.
They all looked ugly.
And this one was dominated by this weird, like radioactive slime green color.
Yeah.
And the plate design is not good. And
It's like in the shape of a bucket,
yeah,
like an upside down bucket.
yeah, kind of.
It's not like round or like,
It's oddly kind of like squared off on the side.
yeah.
So here's the story of it.
Okay.
The first champion was PJ Black. Do you know who that is?
Justin Gabriel.
Yeah, the Darewolf now in
he's
Ring of
been
Honor.
PJ Black much long. Yeah.
Than he ever was Justin Gabriel, I know. He defeated. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
He defeated T.J. Perkins,
Oh, cool.
Jigsaw, and Virgil Flynn.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Where was that at?
I think it was in Vegas
Oh, wow.
for a GFW amp taping in October of 2015.
So we met a contender for the GFW Next Gen Championship.
PJ held the title for about a month before dropping it to Sanjay Dutt, who held it for about a year before losing it to Cody Rhodes in November of 2016. And then Cody held the belt for about 190 days before the belt was deactivated when his GFW contract expired. This is all around the same time when GFW was getting absorbed into Impact.
Yeah.
And that marriage did not go terribly well
No, it didn't.
because then they started transitioning all the Impact titles to kind of GFW titles.
Yeah, that marriage was a disaster.
And now there's no more GFW.
And yeah.
I think.
Ooh, well.
Or is he still kind of... Is his Gold Enterprise still existing?
So he's a member of WWE's
Creative, yeah.
Creative.
Yeah.
So I would think that preclude, but he still was able to wrestle with AAA.
Yeah.
Didn't he? Did he wear like a Global Force something at the AAA show?
I really think he's trying to keep that brand
It's like
alive.
me doing comic books. It's like I've got a fairly successful endeavor going on with you, but there's still a part of me that really wants to be comic book guy too. But it's probably not going to happen. But Steve will keep on maybe trying if he's got some extra time on his hands.
Gotta live that dream, man.
So good
And
for him.
if Jeff Jarrett dreams in radioactive slime green,
Yeah.
and he wants that GFW to continue, more power to him.
Ugly ass title though. Pretty much all those titles.
Yeah,
were
the
very
crowds
ugly.
weren't very good either. Their
And
shows
then they
too.
tried to infect the Impact titles with ugly green too.
and they had stickers involved in it too, right?
They had just slap on stickers on the title right there, like Adam Mayhem did with his face in the H title.
Which the H title is not on this list.
The H, the post Mayhem sticker H title should totally
No
be
way.
on this list.
No
and we
way.
have it here.
No way, it should not be on the list. No way.
Oh, I mean, he has it. So yeah, let's move on. Number 5.
5.
The WCW Hardcore
It
Championship
looks like it's
title.
floating in the heavens there, Steve.
More like the other place, Larson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This title was around WCW from 1999, I think, almost till the end of the company in 2001. Of course, they were just trying to.
Yeah.
They were just trying to be WWE.
Anything WWE does, we can do too.
Because WWF had this purposely silly-looking title, an old world title, busted up, duct taped together with hardcore scrawled on it. That was actually really inspired and interesting and creative and neat.
Well, the genesis of the WWF Hardcore title was inspired as well. I mean, they had Mankind there, who they were at that point.
Well, they had a lot of
acknowledging.
ECW alumni, yeah.
And they had a lot of ECW alumni, exactly. They had Terry Funk there. Well, ECW alumni also Terry Funk.
Terry Funk, but then Taz was there.
Yeah, and they
Al Snow.
were acknowledging, Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. They were a tag team at doing some stuff, and they were obviously in the deep in the Attitude Era. So it's like, okay, let's bring some hardcore wrestling here and let's have a championship. And part of storyline was, kind of, if I remember correctly, they were kind of placating Mick Foley a little bit, or his character, by giving him this completely busted up hardcore championship. All of which was very inspired. I mean, whoever came up with the idea to take an old wing title, an old wing championship, smash it up, put a bunch of duct tape on it, put a hardcore. That is pure inspiration.
It is. And the kayfabe motivation, as you mentioned, was to placate Foley, I believe, so he wouldn't continue his world title pursuits.
Right. And so then WCW, of course, Johnny Come Latelys to everything. They're like, well, hardcore wrestling is just a fact of the industry now, so we're going to do this too. And then they have this just truly uninspired.
It just looks like they're trying to rip off an ECW title.
That's exactly what it looks like.
That's exactly what it is, and it's awful. It's terrible. The side plates there with the kendo sticks, and what else is on there?
Where are the kendo sticks?
Oh, I thought there was kendo sticks.
No, you're probably right. I just, out of this picture, I can't.
Oh, yeah. In one picture I saw, it looked like it had kendo sticks on the side plates.
Yeah.
Anyways, when you think of WCW hardcore wrestlers, you had Hardcore Hack in there at the time, formerly known as the Sandman.
Yeah.
Shane Douglas.
Mike Awesome, was he there yet?
Maybe. I don't remember. I don't remember Shane Douglas was there yet either. But the first WCW hardcore champion was Norman Smiley.
Yeah, they like him. So do you think WCW was this them trying to make fun of something that was really cool? WCW always did that.
Possible.
They would try to make fun of stuff that was really cool.
Because far too often Norman Smiley would win in like accidental fashion.
Right, yeah.
He defeated Brian Knobbs at the Mayhem pay-per-view November 21st, 1999. And I said the belt was around till January 14th of 2001 when Ming won, defeating Crowbar and Terry Funk at WCW Sin. But it was abandoned after that because Haku went back to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he gave the championship to the Barbarian at an independent show like a week afterwards, and then we never really saw the belt again.
That's interesting.
Wasn't featured on the last episode of Nitro, and then it was eventually handed over to WWF.
Yeah. Ooh.
Terrible title. I remember they far too often made a mockery of hardcore wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like WCW was famous for for their standards and practices.
Yeah, I was mention that myself. Yeah.
They couldn't cross certain lines, and so it's like, WCW too often never really lived by the mantra, the credo, you do you. All right. WCW did some stuff pretty damn well.
Yeah.
By this time, when they were getting beat in the ratings,
it was all reactionary BS.
It all just smacked of desperation. You're right. It was reactionary. So it was just a lot of garbage, and this was just more garbage. It was, just made to, like I said, they would always just try to make fun of stuff that was like way cooler than them, and they weren't, they just weren't cool, man.
No, they weren't cool. Not at all.
No. Anyways, moving on. Number 4. The WWE 24/7 title.
All right, this has only been around for 24 hours. We're shooting this on Tuesday.
Yeah.
There you go. Zoom in on that.
There you go.
It's ugly. It's not a good-looking belt, but yet it has its charms. Like, you can look at it. Let's do a deep dive here, Steve.
The M is in the 6th position.
So you think it could be like a clock?
Well, kind of, but no, look at the WWE.
Yeah, it's not. In the slash through 24/7 doesn't really resemble the hands of a clock either.
So I've heard this be compared to several things: a retirement home, a diner, which totally has
diner font. It's the Art Deco vibe.
The Art Deco vibe. BioShock design.
Again, Art Deco.
Here, there's a lot of just missed opportunity here. It's 24/7 around the clock. So why isn't the outer bit here where the word champion is? Why isn't that all positioned like a clock? Why aren't there like numbers right there like a clock? And then the 24/7, the dash between the 24 and the 7, that could be the hands of a clock. It's as if it's just staring him in the face. And I don't know if the lack of inspiration is intentional because this is obviously a comedy gimmick title.
Yeah. I like the upper half of the main plate looks like an electric burner from a stove.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And it almost looks like it obscures a WWE logo up top too.
And
look at overlap.
Look at what the 2 is doing. It's doing like what the old going in the
it's clipping a little bit.
The temp going in Raw logo from like last year is doing. It's like clipping into the circle,
ring around
the
it,
ring. Yeah.
It's got this kind of weird green and yellow. Why does WWE really love their green these days?
I don't know. It's off-putting.
It's green and gold. It's got side plates with nothing on it, which is actually kind of funny.
The side plates have nothing on it.
It's actually kind of funny because all the other titles have areas where you have custom side plates for the champion. People are going to be champion for such short a period of time. It doesn't make any sense to have custom side plates.
I'll be honest. I kind of feel like if I didn't know WWE better, this was intentionally done bad. It's as if they said, hey, the word champion can be like in the spot of numbers on a clock. No. That's way too good. Shift it a little bit so it's awkward and isn't that way.
It's both completely half-assed and oddly inspired simultaneously.
Which also kind of is what the scramble, the entire segment on Monday for this title was. The 24/7 division is oddly inspired and half-assed.
Let me ask you, does someone sketch up this design in about 15 minutes on the back of a napkin? Or was there an entire team that worked weeks on it?
So I think it's probably both. And the entire time they were working on it, they were giggling.
Yeah.
People were giggling over this. And when they saw it, they were like, oh, this is perfect. Look, it's blah, blah, blah. And they were just running it into the ground. It's so bad, but I think they all know it.
Yeah.
They have to understand that this is an atrocious title.
It's horrible.
Which lends all of the charm to it.
I know. It's horrible. In this day and age, a belt like that shouldn't exist in the WWE, and yet it does.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It is. Yeah.
And it's one thing to call it the 24/7 title. I mean, I think they could have had a far more inspired name for it.
Which kind of plays into it also.
Exactly. And instead of having it like written out 24/7, have an interesting, intricate design on the main plate, they just have a giant 24/7. Sorry, I just flung the cap to a pen in my face.
yeah, but 24. Like I am dying to know. Somebody in creative has to start leaking what the story was behind the title.
I can't wait. Hopefully Meltzer dedicates a whole newsletter to it.
I hope
this has tell-all written all over it.
It really does. It really does. I'm looking forward to reading whatever he has to say about it, or Sean Ross Sapp or whoever. Anyways, moving on. Number 3. The Progress Tag Team Shield.
So credit to Progress. In their early days, they were trying different things. Instead of a world championship, they had a staff.
Which, if you go back and watch Progress episode 1, the crowd, and to his credit, Jim Smallman, its tongue is firmly in cheek. This isn't like a serious hey, this is the thing. Maybe somebody backstage had it as a serious idea.
I know, but Jim Smallman comes out knowing that it's pretty much crap.
According to the terminology of the UK, he definitely takes the piss out of it.
Yes.
You know, it's a goof.
And alongside that was their Tag Team Championship, which were not belts but a shield emblazoned with the Progress logo that split in half, so each member of the team could carry it. It's kind of reminiscent of the Women's Championship that Michelle McCool and Layla had.
Yeah, right.
That split in half.
Yeah,
but that was actually a belt.
Yeah.
This is a shield.
Yeah.
I don't know if in the history of wrestling a championship has ever been a shield before.
Maybe in the old school Roman days.
Maybe
like it was. I don't know if tag team wrestling was an Olympic sport in the Roman days.
Yeah. Well, it'd be the Greek days.
The Greek days.
Yeah.
The Greek Olympics. Was tag team wrestling a thing?
No, not tag team.
I know
wrestling.
real wrestling.
Yeah, real
was.
wrestling. I don't think tag
but
team.
Tag
wrestling.
team
I don't think
wrestling?
that battle royals or anything like that. Beat the clock challenge. None of that. No. Beat the sundial challenge. No. So
beat the sundial challenge.
So the tag team shield was announced at
the Lion
Progress
versus Man Scramble.
Yeah, I know, the Progress Chapter 9 show, November 2013, and then the first tag champions were won. The shield was first won by FSU, who are Mark Andrews and one of Steve's personal favorite, Eddie Dennis.
Well, and of course, that's a long-term story right there, because then they had that match at the Wembley show where they couldn't break a table.
Yeah. It was crowned at Chapter 12, the second anniversary show.
Of course, when Eddie Dennis gets to NXT UK, there's like no mention of that stuff.
Yeah, no. In March 2014, FSU defeated a team called Screw Indie Wrestling and another one called Project Ego. And the belt stuck around. Sorry, the shield stuck around till Progress Chapter 46, when they were replaced with traditional tag team belts. And of course, it still kind of harkens back to this because their tag team titles now have kind of like why is the term escaping me? The Progress tag team titles.
Oh, the yin yang.
Yes, sorry, that term escaped me for some reason. Has that on the main plate of the belt. Kind of harkening back to the Shield.
Yeah. Let's see here. Screw indie wrestling.
Are you sure that's naming the team?
What's that?
Are you trying to see who Screw Indie Wrestling was?
Yeah.
I look like this is just an article bashing indie wrestling.
No, Wrestling's Last Hope. Screw indie wrestling. Oh, never mind. Let's see here. I wanted to say it was Nathan Cruz in it?
Maybe he was prominently featured in a lot of the early.
He was the first Progress champion.
Yeah, he was holding picture there of him holding the staff.
Yeah, he was a vocal part of the Screw indie wrestling movement and feuded with Styx.
I guess he was one member of Screw Indie Wrestling.
I guess so, but there's no. I want to thing with that. Whatever.
The proper history of Progress. They have a documentary. We can just watch that.
Yeah, there you go.
So
it's
a shield.
It's a
shield.
shield. I kind of think it's. Here we go. Martin Stone and Shaw Samuels.
Oh, okay.
So I know who Shaw Samuels is. He's in ICW now.
I've heard the name Martin Stone before.
Okay. All right. Maybe they're still together. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, Shield. Number 2. The TNA Immortal Championship. Of course, this was everybody knows this is a Jeff Hardy title.
Yeah. The Willow title, pretty much.
Yeah, where it was like a really weird. It looks so cheap. It's like
I remember when I've never really watched Impact a whole lot. In fact, not really at all.
Yeah, sure.
But
you remember when this is around?
I remember one day just flipping through the channels, coming across Impact, and seeing Jeff Hardy walk down the ring carrying that abomination, and thinking, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, just look. I think when I saw
horrible.
I think I kind of put it 2 and 2 together. I was like, oh, I guess that's his redesigned title. It just looks like a cheap vanity title, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a real thing.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't at all.
But yeah, apparently at the November 8th, 2010 tapings of the November 11th episode of Impact, TNA introduced a new design for the World Heavyweight Championship belt, which the champion Jeff Hardy dubbed the Immortal Championship. He was part of the group Immortal.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
So yeah, it's a purple strap, and it's got the silver plate in the middle with like his face paint on it, and it's got like a TNA logo and some other detail. It's just kind of really, I wish they had done an Itchweed belt.
It's an unflattering shape.
Yes.
It's kind of like this weird point at the top, and it just looks cheap.
All right, so here, I mentioned earlier the title history for this particular belt.
Okay.
So this belt was only around from November of 2010 till March of 2011. So what was that, 4 months?
Yeah.
In 4 months' time,
oh dear,
3 different people held this belt.
Jeez.
First, Jeff Hardy, of course, and then Mr. Anderson beat him for it at Genesis 2011. That's January. And about a month later, at Against All Odds, Hardy gets it back, only to drop it to Sting about 11 days later, February 24th, 2011. And then it was during this reign of Sting's that he went to a more traditional-looking TNA World Championship.
All right.
And I don't believe this belt was ever seen again.
Ah.
I don't know how this falls in the timeline of Jeff Hardy's substance abuse issues. What was that? Bound?
2009.
2009. So this is after that.
Oops.
Then. Oh, I know it. You
Was
sure?
it 2009 or was it 2010? Or was it 2011? Jeff Hardy bound.
Bound for Glory. It's 2012 then.
Was it 2012?
No, he won it there. Was that even for the title?
Victory Road 2011.
Victory Road 2011. I don't know what that is in relation. What was the date on that?
That date was March of 2011.
Oh, okay. So that must have been when he was getting a rematch against Sting to get the TNA Championship back. At which point, what was the date on there you said?
So he was drunk when this title debuted.
What was the date?
March.
March, what day?
13th.
Oh, okay. So it was probably the following, episode of Impact that Sting brought out a new title.
Oh, okay. All right. What a mess.
Yeah.
What an absolute mess. Anyways, let's finish this thing up. Number 1! The WWE U.S. Spinner title.
This is just a horrible
This
looking belt.
is horribly
It's
ugly.
Horrible.
I'm gonna grab another
Horrible.
picture here so that we can appreciate. Here we go. This is perfect.
It's so bad.
It's really, really bad.
Every design element is horrible.
So he won the U.S. title off of, what was it, like Big Show or something?
Well, yeah, years ago. But he debuted that particular U.S. title in his third U.S. title reign, which I think might have been his shortest. Apparently, it was at Armageddon 2004, where he brought that belt out for the first time. Mm-hmm. But it was only around a handful of months because Orlando Jordan beat Cena for that belt in March 2005, and then he and JBL apparently blew it up.
That's cool. That's a face move right there.
A fitting fate for a belt of that caliber.
So let's just take a look at this.
So
like,
you have like some American flag clip art in the background.
There are 3 American flags on it, 1 on each side plate.
But those are all bejeweled.
Bejeweled.
Yes.
Those are bejeweled. And then in the middle, in like a really gaudy tech font, is U.S.
It almost looks pixelated because of all the jewels on there.
Yeah.
And then there's some script above and below U.S. You have Word Life, and then below that John Cena with the trademark on it. And that's on top of like as I said, like some bad clip art, like enamel.
An enamel.
U.S. flag looking background, and that whole thing spun. It's horrible.
It's so ugly.
It's horrible. Thankfully, it was only around for a matter of a few months because it's bad. It is so bad.
I like that. And somebody got the idea there. They're like, hey, you know what? If he ever wins the world title, we'll do it again.
But they actually upgraded it.
Yeah, they did upgrade it.
A much better looking
it's
belt.
Only on number 10 on this list.
Yeah.
As opposed to the worst spot, which is number 1.
Number 1, because that is by far that's the worst looking belt.
And it's like small.
Pretty much the worst looking belt I've ever seen.
It is the worst. And there's some really nasty ones. I mean, you'd be surprised how many didn't make this list that probably should have.
Yeah.
You look up the CWA Heavyweight Championship. I know you're actually kind of partial.
I kind of like that. It looks like a cereal box.
That's not a good thing, though.
No, I think it is because it's huge. The main plate, it's not thick like a cereal box, but it's like, like in terms of the size of it, it's huge. I love it.
Yeah.
I like a lot of those weird old school belts from the 70s and 80s.
I appreciate the
They got a lot of
vintage
character.
nature of them. Like, I'd wear that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, totally.
But as a title, if I won it, I'd be like, oh, what the hell is this? And there's like back in the day when it was just the size of a belt buckle. Mm-hmm. Like whatever Orville Brown had was probably
those are different times though.
Really tiny. Hold on, Orville. Now I just want to look at Orville Brown.
Like the first NWA title.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
It just looks like a really fancy belt
Yeah,
that you
they're
get at
pretty small.
JCPenney. Anyways, let us know what awful, ugly titles you guys want to bring to our attention in the comments.
Yeah.
And if you're in Las Vegas,
Yes.
this is going live on Friday.
Yes, this is going on Friday. Yes.
If you're in Las Vegas, come see us at StarCast 2. We're going to have a table in the vendor area. We're going to be selling merch, taking pictures, whatever you guys want to do.
Shaking hands, saying hi.
And then on Sunday, even if you don't want to go to StarCast, if you don't want to pay money to go to StarCast, for free, we've got our very first Going In Raw, thanks to the Podcast Movement stage, on the Podcast Movement stage. And it's completely free.
Tuscany Suites or Casino and Suites.
11 a.m. Sunday morning at the Tuscany Casino and Suites and Casinos. We will be there, and hopefully you'll join us.
Yes, please.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Anyways, that's it for now. Thanks so much for tuning in. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Starting at $1 a month, you can enjoy Going In Raw ad-free, gain access to the daily 30-minute Going In Raw post show, exclusive merchandise, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.